Well, did you check on him? I mean, did you? What do I mean? Did you check on him? Did you check on him? Did you see him after Raw? Rollins looked absolutely horrible. He looked freaking unconscious. Did you give him a blanket, a pillow? Because it looked like it was nap time. Are they gonna leave a light on for him? What do you mean? What kind of question is that? I mean, am I gonna put my light on? Why am I gonna put my light on? Because we're live. Holy crap, we're live. Thanks for letting me know. Appreciate it. All right, we're live. J-Bone back here. Yeah, we hope Rollins is okay for Hell in a Cell. Not looking too good. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the special I watched after Raw. Heard about this earlier today. And this has been one I've been meaning to buy, but just never did. And then I heard it was going to be on the network, and it's like, oh, well, then I guess I don't have to. No, I should. I still, as a wrestling fan, I still want to buy it. The Eric, well, it's, you know, they call it on the network Eric Bischoff Beyond the Ring, but it's the DVD was Eric Bischoff, Sports Entertainment's Most Controversial Figure, and that's, you know, you can. You know, I take that with a grain of salt. Was he controversial? Yeah, but I in my opinion, he was only as controversial as Ted Turner's money was going to let him be. He did do some interesting things throughout the course of the Attitude Era. You know, it started out incredible. I enjoyed this special because it goes all the way back to the beginning of him growing up. When I became a fan of WCW in the late 90s, you know, in the midst of the Attitude Era, and you started seeing these things about Eric Bischoff wanting to get into a fight and that he was a black belt and all this kind of stuff. I always took that as that was BS. That was like, oh, this guy's ego is through the roof. He thinks he's so almighty and powerful that he can actually fight. No, he actually had his black belt, and I did not realize that. So that's one significant thing about him that I learned from this. And I'm not gonna pick it apart every little piece that I, you know, from watching this, but it was really cool to watch it and learn, see the footage back from the AWA days, hear Gagne's story, how he was involved with him, and then him going to WCW, getting his job, and the whole really starting to challenge WWE when WCW really started to challenge him. That's crazy. That's crazy stuff right there. The fact that Bischoff was like, you know, really thrown off and just threw out the idea to go, you know, compete with him on TV the same night. And Ted Turner's like, hey, give him 2 hours on Monday nights on TNT. And that's, you know, that really solidified the, hey, we're really doing this. I mean, they were getting some steam, but that was, you know, I think they were getting a little bit better, but that really blew the roof off. And the whole debut at the Mall of America, is that what that was? Minnesota? Yeah. The heart of AWA country. So yeah, this special was cool. It was really great to see all the old footage. It really makes me want to get my money's worth on the network because I was such a big WCW fan. I watched all the golden era, with Hogan and all them back then in WWF, the birth of WrestleMania, all that back then in the mid to late 80s. And then I got away from it in the early 90s and got back into it late 90s and watching. I watched some of the WCW stuff, I think, right before I got into high school, which would have been 87, 88-ish. And I remember them talking about the Disney studios, the WCW and the Disney studios in Orlando. And I remember sitting, was it Saturday morning? Saturday mornings, I'd be sitting at my friend John's house in his basement, eating snacks, sitting on the floor with a big TV on the floor, and watching Luger, Flair, and all that stuff back then, and seeing that old footage of that back then. It brought back so many good memories of friends I had in my old neighborhood growing up, and just kicking back and watching that wrestling. And man, I wonder what happened to some of those guys. It makes me want to look them up. But geez Louise, good memories. And then I got away from it for so long, for almost 10 years. Give or take a little, probably just less than 10 years. Late 90s, in the midst of the NWO feud, the birth of Goldberg, and, Eric Bischoff was at the helm at that time. And, man, just how he was portrayed on TV, his position, and then he became part of the NWO, like he was the mind behind it all, which he was. So yeah, just a great all around special. And then it showed, obviously they're not gonna say what he did after WWE and the whole TNA thing. They're not gonna talk about that. But it's it was cool. Then they highlighted a few moments of working for WWE post WCW, and that was a lot of fun. Him working with Stone Cold, being co-GMs. I remember that. That was crazy. And I remember loving WCW. I remember the sale of WCW, and I remember the feeling like, oh great, now all I have to watch is WWE, or at that time WWF. And because they bought them. That was not a good feeling back then, because I had absolutely no interest in WWF back then. I didn't know anyone that was in the company at the time. Well, I knew Shawn Michaels and Undertaker, and that was about it. But WCW was it for me. I love that. And eventually, everyone from WCW went to WWE. Well, not everyone, but, a good chunk. A good chunk of the roster did. And a few later, like, Goldberg a couple years later. But, yeah. That was such a crazy time back then, but my point is, watching Eric show up a couple years later on Raw with Vince McMahon was the shock of all shocks. It really was. But that was so much fun because you still remembered him being that guy with all the power, and it still felt like that, but you knew he really didn't in WWF, when he was GM, because there was like he said in the special, there was that reality television feeling to it, like, oh, okay, the wrestling is wrestling, but these other guys showing up and security stopping them and all that stuff, that looked so real. And it did. I think that really shocked and awed a lot of wrestling fans because they never saw stuff like that before. And I give Eric a lot of credit for that. Great mind, really is. It was funny watching Jason Harvey in this special too. It reminded me of remembering him as a child actor. One thing he was in, and no, I'm not going to turn this into a Jason Harvey special, but the Pee Wee Herman movie, he had like a bit part in there. Funny stuff. Anyways, but yeah, I think they still work together. I think they still have that production company, and they were the ones that were working on TNA. I don't think they have anything to do with them anymore. I think they're still in litigation with TNA. Man, and after watching this, you got to wonder. And also the interview that he did with JBL, that was also really good. I'm going to go back and watch that again. That was a lot of fun. You got to wonder with all this stuff and all the WCW nostalgia over the course of the last couple of years, especially with Sting coming back, now Goldberg, and now they put the Eric Bischoff special on along with the JBL thing. You got to wonder if Eric Bischoff is going to be headed towards a Hall of Fame soon. I'd like to think that he is, because he was such a big character. I'd like to see that. Let me know if you'd like to see that too. Put it in the comments. That'd be pretty slick. I also heard something about Goldberg possibly going to next year, and that would be a really interesting nod to have a more WCW themed class going next year. Have Eric Bischoff, Goldberg headline it, and then I don't know, some others, some more memorable WCW guys. Luger's not in, is he? I don't think he is. Put Luger in there. That'd be pretty cool. For crying out loud, before he's dead, Jeez Louise. How many of these guys are going to pass away? And oh, geez, well, now we should definitely put them in the Hall of Fame. Well, no, do it before they die. Let them know. Give the fans a chance to get to know them again. And that's why these specials are so great. It's great for younger fans to learn about the past of the wrestling industry, and also for an older fan like me to look back and be like, yeah, man, that shit was awesome back then. It was so much fun. The good old WCW days. Not everyone's a fan of that stuff, but man, I really look back on that, and I'm a lot of good memories. No, the booking wasn't that great towards the end. The last couple of years were getting pretty rough, but still, there was a lot of good times throughout the years of WCW, from the Disney studio, the small studios, that kind of looked like NXT or TNA, that size, to doing Raws at football stadiums to its demise on a beach with a few hundred people. It's crazy. So yeah, go if you're a fan of WCW and you want to get your money's worth on the network, go check out that Eric Bischoff Beyond the Ring special, the most controversial sports entertainment. What is it called? Yeah, whatever it is. Yeah, go check it out. It's on there. And yeah, if you bought the network, get your money's worth. Go watch a really damn good documentary. The only negative thing I could say about it is in the process of doing a little bit of research before I did this was I read that this WWE network version of it is a little shorter. So they, it's easier to watch if it's an hour, I guess, or something. I don't know. So I don't know what they all left out. I still want to get the DVD just so I can watch the whole thing in its completion. I will someday. But for now, if you don't own the DVD and you just still want to see a good documentary on Eric Bischoff and the old WCW days and how he got into the business, go check it out. I highly remember it. Hell in a Cell predictions will come sometime later this week. Might do them tomorrow. I'm supposed to get together with the Ramblers sometime tomorrow night, probably during SmackDown, and we're going to be recording that. As far as this Smash This podcast, Hell in a Cell stuff, yeah, I don't know. Tomorrow, maybe Wednesday. I don't know. I don't know exactly what day it's going to fall on. We'll see. Like I said in the last couple of videos, I still want to do the JBL Bruno Sammartino one. I'll probably be reviewing that sometime later this week. We'll get a couple things done before Friday rolls around, and then I'll get my kids and I'll have them for the weekend, and I won't be back until Monday. That's how that'll go. And I'll watch Hell in a Cell, and we'll see how that goes. So, till I see you again, have a good one, and yeah, probably do the predictions next, so we'll see you for that next time.